All right, everyone. So as we discussed, we're going to put in the finishing touches to our portrait, and the way that we do that, at least for this step, is going to be to cut out our grid, right? So we transferred our image over to the large piece of paper based on a grid, trying to get it looking exactly the same, or at least as close as we could. And now our next step is going to be to remove all the grid lines, right? I have a few left over down here at the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and cut out our portrait so it looks nice. And we don't have all this unused kind of border at the side. If I'd have thought about this a little bit better, maybe we could have built in a border, but it just wasn't in the cards for this project. You can always put a border on it later if you want. This is going to be like a wall piece, but if it's a fridge piece, a piece that goes up on the fridge, then just cutting it out should be fine. So here we go. What you want to do is take a careful look at your original grid. Everyone should have a 5-inch by 7-inch grid drawn over their original tracing paper. This functions as my original tracing paper. So I'm just going to count that out and make sure that I have it. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. That's 7 inches. Each square is an inch. And then I should have 5 inches going laterally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what I want to do is just match that up as best I can with my larger piece. So starting up here, looks like that's the beginning of my poster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my poster actually goes all the way down. I got a lot of negative space down here, which is regrettable, especially because I cut off the top of the head, but it's okay. And then let's see, I think we're starting over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be cutting out. My first step is going to be to erase all the grid marks that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and take care of that on your end when you're ready. So I'm going to erase this. I've already done a lot of the erasing. As you can see, there's not a ton of grid marks. But I'm going to continue to erase what I have. A little dot down here I'm going to get rid of. And just get rid of all that scaffolding, right? So there's a lot of kind of extra lines that we needed to create this project successfully. We want to go ahead and get rid of those as best we can. Yeah. You can always erase them once you cut them out, but I'd like to do it before. All right, we'll come back to that. Y'all know how to erase. You don't need a demo for that. All right, next step is going to be to cut this bad boy out. Mine's snug up to the bottom left corner of my paper. So the only cut I'm going to have to make is 2 cuts right here and right here. You could use the scissors. Obviously, if you're working from home, you may not have an X-Acto handy, and that's totally fine. Just want to kind of bring up our Pixel project. We kind of talked about when it's a good idea to use X-Actos and when it's a good idea to use scissors. Remember, if you're trying to cut a long line, something that's longer than, there we go, the tang of the scissors, right, longer than this length, you're going to want to use a ruler if you can, just to get a perfectly straight cut. If you're cutting something very short, you don't have to pull out the X-Acto knife. You can just use a pair of scissors. But yeah, for longer cuts, longer straight cuts, I should say, usually want to use the X-Acto. So we're going to remember our X-Acto training. Line up a ruler with the edge. Put a firm press on our ruler. And then lightly and carefully draw our X-Acto along the edge. Right? Make sure it's all been cut. once it has. Oh. There we go. Go ahead and remove it. Right, there we go. It's my testers for all my different colors, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to go this way too. This is kind of a long one. Again, scissors are fine. Just want to kind of review if we were in an ideal circumstance, right? We'd be using an X-Acto knife, and that's just what I have on hand, so that's what I'm using. All right, didn't quite get it that time, so I'm going to make another pass. Almost there. One more. Time to change the blade on the X-Acto. And there we go. Alright, what we're left with is a nice little poster. Remember, this is our original. Right. Added in a few different colors. As you can see, I kind of committed to the nose. I'm not sure if I like it or not yet, but it's there for good. So there we go. Right. Try to get a nice angle of that, and now that I'm done, I might take my final photo using my phone just so there's no angle on the camera. But that's going to be my finished product. There you go. One Obama style poster bought and paid for. Ta-da. All right, does anyone have any questions?